Hi, I'm Elise.
I'm Sandra.
And I'm Brianna.
And we're talking about niche streaming service competitiveness. So, streaming services have transformed entertainment by making content on demand and easily accessible. Major players like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus dominate with vast content libraries. Audiences now seek personalized content that reflects their uniqueness, interests, or communities. Anderson highlights the value. So, streaming services have transformed entertainment by making content on demand and easily accessible. Major players like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus dominate with vast content libraries. Audiences now seek personalized content that reflects on their unique interests or communities. Anderson highlights that the value of niche markets in the meeting diverse viewer preferences. The new streaming service plans to focus on niche content to stand out in a crowded market. The primary problem is determining which niche segments offer real opportunities for market entry and building lasting viewer relationships. The research will identify overlooked content niches that have big streaming platforms which haven't been fully explored. It will also analyze consumer preferences to understand what drives interest and willingness to subscribe to a niche platform. Another goal is to evaluate marketing strategies that can help a niche-focused service. So the study uses a descriptive design to understand consumer behaviors, preferences, and attitudes towards niche streaming services. This approach focuses on demand patterns rather than testing cause and effect relationships. Secondary data includes industry reports, market trends, and competitor analysis to find gaps in existing services. Primary data is gathered through surveys and focus groups to learn about content preferences and subscription. So for this study, we're using both qualitative and quantitative methods to really understand the market difference angles. By combining these two, we can get not just the numbers and trends, but also the reason behind people's choices, what really motivates them. The goal is to use these insights to pinpoint the right niche audiences that the new streaming service should target. From there, the study will help us set right pricing and create marketing messages that actually connect with the audience on a personal level.
So the next thing I'm going to talk about is target population. So our main focus is on the US streaming consumers, which are in the ages between 18 to 45, who are currently subscribed to at least one major platform, either to Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, or Prime Video. These individuals already engage with mainstreaming media content and are familiar with how the platform already works. Because they're active users, they're more likely to have opinions on emerging niche-focused options like independent films, anime, etc. This audience will give us a well-rounded view of both popular and alternative viewing preferences. So moving on to sample size and justification. According to Hare, the right sample size depends on the study's purpose, desired confidence level, and population variability. For a quantitative survey, a sample size of around 200 to 400 participants is the ideal range. This range is large enough to provide statistically reliable results while being realistic in terms of time and cost. Using a 95% confidence level with a plus or minus 5% margin of error means our results would most likely accurately reflect the wide range of consumer attitudes towards niche content. Moving on to sample technique, we'll use a non-probability quota sampling method. This means we'll intentionally include subgroups based on age, gender, and viewing habits to ensure a mix of opinions. This approach aligns with Chris Anderson's long tail theory, which highlights the importance of variety and niche interests rather than just focusing on mainstream trends. So the table right here shows of a total of 300 US streaming users, all between like the ages that I said 18 to 45, who are split into different groups for the study. These groups are based, as you can see, of age, gender, and watching habits to make sure all viewing styles are represented. Each group represents a part of today's streaming audience. For today, Gen Z members are split by gender and known for watching things like anime, gaming shows, or queer films. Millennials are also divided by gender and tend to like things like true crime, documentaries, and international movies. There are also other groups split up, like, for example, people with kids, people who watch all types of shows, Spanish speaking users, and budget friendly users who use free streaming apps.
Okay, so the data collection method. To collect the necessary data for understanding how a new streaming service can compete, using online surveys would be like the great option for gathering that data. This survey will focus on individuals ages between 18 to 45 who have one or more major streaming platforms like Netflix, Hulu, or Disney Plus. A couple of scales that will include a variety of measurements to collect this data are a Likert scale, which measures how consumers feel about the content of mainstream or niche platforms, a comparative scale which focuses on the consumer's preference for a streaming platform, and a ranking scale which shows how certain features consumers like about a specific platform. This combination of qualitative and quantitative instruments will ensure a pattern and will insights into the consumer's perspective. So now for the profitable marginal benefits, by identifying the consumer's preference for niche content and features, the research will help form decisions based on the content positioning and how to market their targeted audience. Gaining the idea of what majority of your audience prefers is crucial because it allows for a more personalized viewing experience. For example, Crunchyroll is a great example because it uses personalized libraries based on what viewers' preference and favorites, making it easier for them to access and watch. Furthermore, the research will help identify who the content viewers are, making it easier to divide the audience and create marketing strategies, also providing an insight into how the consumer feels about the platform or the content. So now for the limitations, gathering results. Surveys. This survey may not apply to a lot of applicants due to how they're loyal to their platform, so it could skew the data. Another one is self-reported data. Participants' results may not align with how they personally feel. For example, if they're loyal to a different platform, they might not feel like switching over to a newer platform, which could cause like that sort of limitation for that. And consumer loyalty could affect how participants feel about the new streaming sites. Like I said, being loyal to a different platform, it's harder for a new platform to like get out there because people are still loyal to the bigger, more major platforms like Disney Plus, Netflix, or Hulu, so it's harder for them to kind of switch over to a newer one that they're not familiar with. However, this study will present limitations that should be considered when gathering results. It could possibly attract loyal streaming fans from other platforms, which means that the results may not apply to them. Even considering these limitations, the research can still offer great insights into how the new streaming service can stand out from the rest of the major platforms. Those are the references. Ta-da.